In this divided political climate, is there any real future threat to the current tax advantages for permanent life insurance?
What's the question?
In this divided political climate, is there any real future threat to the current tax advantages for permanent life insurance?
Biden owns 6 Mass Mutual policies. Richie Neal, who was a family member of a general agent of Mass Mutual, agreed to change 7702 and make it better than it was. The Democrats like this better than the Republicans. I don't see a threat. Personally, I do not see a threat to this. If they tax inside buildup of life insurance, then they're going to have to tax equity in a house. And I don't see that happening either. If they tax a loan, then you got to tax an automobile loan. So I think we're a long way from seeing anything changed. And to Van's point, the next 10 years, you have the largest chunk of money that's going to go from one generation to the next. Stop giving the most of it to the IRS. What if we could protect that? We should all be able to have conversations standing in line at a Starbucks like Van does. All of us.
If I can just say something, just as a point, I think the first major challenge, the first major U.S. threat against cash value and the value, and just the values of life insurance, I think happened in 1898, the 19th century. And I think it's what spawned NALU at the time, the Advisors Association, NAIFA today. I think that's what happened. This also happened in Canada again in 1981 with a budget that happened in December of that year. And by the way, both of those were pushed down big time. So in the US, at least at the end of the 19th century, and it's managed to survive all the way through that. And in Canada, the uproar was so loud, the government sort of buried their head and ran for the bush. They gave up. I think Tom's exactly right. I think history will demonstrate that. I think the economic and social value of this product is just far too great for anyone to say we need to tax that in any fashion at all, whether it's proceeds or, I mean, look, they're going to go after values to the best way they can, finding ways, and they surely have done this in Canada. But I don't think that you're going to lose all of them, and it's always going to be better than anything else in the long term, anyhow. So to me, as long as I think it will survive, the advantages will survive. I think if you avoid the gimmickiest stuff on the market, you're never going to have a problem. David?
I can agree with that. The other part too is that the last time that life insurance was effective was in the 80s with Tamara, Tefra, and Defra, those 3 evil stepsisters. But every policy that was sold before then was grandfathered under the old rules. So that's an important thing to keep in mind too. So already have past precedent that, hey, even if it changed, well, better get it now.
So remember, your 401k plan is a unilateral agreement with the United States government, meaning it's one way, their way, and every year we are dictated to new rules and regulations regarding a 401k or any qualified retirement plan. Life insurance is a legal contract that takes 61 votes in the Senate to change. It's not, I just all of a sudden want to change it. So contract law can be changed. It has before, but to make it easier, in the past, they have grandfathered. And if you'll remember what happened back in the 80s, it was Rostenkowski and Packwood who stood on the steps of the Capitol saying, we have enough votes. We're going to change this. In February, we're going to change this. It's effective July. You have 4 months to buy all the single premium whole life you can scarf. 4 months. And then we're going to change the rules for the people who don't do it. So there's a hidden agenda here. 4% of the population, I've heard last, buys their life insurance the way that we show it. It happens to be the politicians and their donor base. There's a reason why you haven't heard about this before, people. This is the tightest, closest to the chest secret that has not been shared. I think you need to hear it. You know, I've been asked to go on Glenn Beck's radio program and talk about why in the hell would I talk about this? No, but I will talk to you about what you can do. And one at a time, I'm trying to change the world, one at a time. You end up renting the Coliseum, Madison Square Garden, and you start touting what life insurance is, you will look at what happened in the 80s. Metropolitan took out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal, the centerpiece, cheat the government. That was the title. And Packwood held it up in hearing. This isn't life insurance. I'm looking for that picture, Van. There is a picture somewhere of him holding that up in Congress, pointing to the ad. It's Metropolitan's worst day in history. They don't have a copy of it anywhere, but someone does. And I'm going to plaster that on the side of my motorhome. This is what we're talking about.